It's important to realise there is an 18-point attainment gap in degrees between first and 2-1 between our black and white peers.
So if you see a company that is doing it right, that's doing the right thing, bringing in a diverse culture into a business, you will get top talent actually wanting to move and migrate towards your business.
A sense of belonging to me means feeling accepted and valued within a community, and it's being able to express yourself.
It was very difficult, but Cowrie was there, Richard was there, helping every step of the way.
The financial aspect took a huge weight off my shoulders, and to be fair, I do have quite good money management skills, but I wouldn't have any money to manage if it wasn't for the Cowrie scholarship.
Good afternoon and a warm welcome on behalf of our Cowrie scholars, our ambassadors, our trustees and our advisors. Thank you for coming to a sense of belonging here at King's College. We're grateful to Dean and the team for providing this wonderful venue, and most importantly, thank you for your time for today. So my name is Richard. I'm the founder of the Cowrie Scholarship Foundation, and what I'd like to do is give you an update on where we are, our next steps, and how you can help. So the vision is straightforward. We want to help over 100 talented, disadvantaged Black British students through education. We want to be able to empower them by funding their living costs, by funding their tuition fees, and with a robust mentorship program, all achieved in partnership with universities and with business. Many of the universities are here, and some of the businesses are here today. Why Cowrie? It's important to realise that Black and minority students are significantly underrepresented at our highly selected universities. It's important to realise there is an 18-point attainment gap in degrees between first and 2-1 between our black and white peers. You're 5 times, think about it, 5 times more likely to enter a high-talent university if you live in an affluent area engaged in education than if you live in a deprived area. For the business community, equity, diversity and inclusion matter. Most of you probably know that organisations where indeed they have a diversity vision, then innovation is enhanced, retention of talent is enhanced, attraction of talent is enhanced, and if nothing else, in terms of GDP, the cost is significant, 24 billion. And in terms of the best performing businesses, those with a diverse executive team, far more improved performance. We're fortunate to have Adrian Lester as our patron. We have Professor David Shargo, Dr. Mary Stewart, Jeff Palmer, Martin Epson. Martin is here today as our ambassadors. We have a full trustees board, AJ, Tosha, Chelsea, Piajardo, Tim, Sadia, Naomi. Most of them are in the room. And we're fortunate to have business advisors, Jim McCoy from TradeWeb, Celia Fraser from Capital Group, Celia is here. We have Elizabeth Riley from the Moore Partnership giving us philanthropic advice. Liz is here. And we have Ikena Achilonu from London School of Economics giving us guidance on scholarship, and he's here as well. So the strategy is simple. We partner with the universities cover the tuition fees. We need the donors and the business to help us provide the living costs, and we have that wraparound support in terms of mentorship. So what's our impact? Well, as of October last year, we had 33 scholars in programme, 26 universities who've committed 3.5 million, and we have 6 corporate partners. These are our partner universities, 26 partner universities, and they have committed 3.5 million to cover the tuition fees of 118 students in the coming decade. We have 6 major corporates: Unilever, Oxyra, Jacobs, Capital, AstraZeneca, and Tradeweb, as well as support from the London Stock Exchange Group, Goldman Sachs, ExxonMobil, Enterprise, JK, and Renewables and Diverse Minds. Mentorship matters. Black British students are more likely to drop out of university. More likely to be awarded, as I mentioned, a 2, 2 or a 3rd, which has an impact in terms of progression, in terms of higher education progression, in terms of starting salary. So mentorship is a really important component of our program. One of my favourite slides, this is when we met up in Edinburgh, and we're delighted to have today Cowrie, Kezia, Lydia, Mariana, Miranda, Salome, Shania, Tiana, and Aisha. They're in the room here today. So, our target, why we're here, let's cut to the bottom line. I was saying this to Tiffany earlier, let's cut to the chase. We want 18 new scholars to start this October. 85,000 will enable us to ensure all 18 complete their degree, any degree, once they're accepted at that university. We provide £8,000 per year to our students outside London and £10,000 per year to our students within London. We want to unlock all 118 Cowrie scholars. We want to expand our platform to 125. We want to expand our corporate partnerships, internships, workshops, and next year we'll see our first cohort graduate. We want an alumni network. So what can you do? Okay, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Spread the word, become a partner, introduce us to your network. Mentors. We will have 51 scholars this year. We need 100 mentors. Share your expertise, workshops, internships, and of course, company schemes, salary sacrifice, financial, fundraise, donate. So, you can be the difference. I always end, everyone knows this, with my favourite quote, Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And I truly believe that.
People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. What do the words of Maya Angelou, you might ask yourself, have to do with the next session? On a sense of belonging and what that means. For me, it's really clear what it means. Education is not a rational endeavour. Our scholars are not simply rational individuals. Never has a time been more important, as we've just seen. Education is a catalyst for change, but education on its own doesn't create a sense of belonging. It doesn't create a sense of purpose. It doesn't create a sense of community. That's why the scholars that you will hear today they're here on purpose, for a purpose. And that lived experience of what it means to belong, to be part of a community, I thought was so powerfully articulated in the earlier session. And so without further ado, I want to make it absolutely painfully clear before we hear from their powerful and lived experiences that education isn't a luxury. Education is a right for all. We live in a turbulent world, in a turbulent society. And so that's why today it is so important for each and every one of us to ask ourselves, what do we do to make that measurable difference, to ensure the scholars of today are the leaders of tomorrow? So without further ado, I'm going to ask you, just quickly, all of you to introduce yourselves, and then I've got a series of questions that I want to kind of debate with you. So starting at the front.
Hello, my name is Miranda Moofetter and I'm at the University of York.
Hello, my name is Salome Agba Joseph. I'm at the University of Manchester.
Hello, my name is Cowrie and I'm a student at the University of Edinburgh.
Hi, I'm Tay Milstead and I'm a student at the University of Bath.
Hi, I'm Wafan Nasruddin and I go to King's College London.
Hi, I'm Keze Gakpi and I study at the University of Leicester.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mariana Fatiambalo, and I study in University in Hull.
Hi everyone, I'm Shania Ra and I'm a student at Newcastle University.
So Shai, can we just stay with you? We've been talking about a sense of belonging. Can you maybe talk us through what does a sense of belonging mean for you from your lived experience?
A sense of belonging to me is a space of inclusivity and where everyone feels welcome, they're all included, everyone's treated fairly. In terms of bringing together different cultures and different ideas and having a space of no judgment.
Thank you. And could you just pass the mic down? We've got another one there which you want to use. Yes.
Well, a sense of belonging for me, it's being seen, it's being valued and being recognised and heard. And for me, Cowrie scholars made me feel seen, valued, and it was like a vital part of like the additional confidence that I need. For example, the time of applying to university, I didn't think I would be able to be in the position I am today without Cowrie scholars and their support of having how I can say it, having that support there.
Thank you.
The two words that come to mind when I think of belonging are safety and comfortability. And to me, just being safe means I feel like I'm at home, whether it's actually at home or elsewhere, where I'm in a space with other people that may or may not be like-minded, but everyone is appreciative and inclusive of others' opinions, whether or not they agree. And just somewhere where I feel like I can be myself unapologetically, even if we're not from the same backgrounds, even if we didn't have the same experiences, but we have a mutual understanding of respect and sometimes even friendship and being like family.
To me, a sense of belonging means that I'm able to make errors, make mistakes, and still have people call me out on these whilst valuing my experience and what has led me to this pathway. It's something that I've been able to envision and take part into in my 2 years here so far, and something that I'm willing to carry on in the future.
A sense of belonging to me means feeling accepted and valued within a community, and it's being able to express yourself without feeling as if like you're not wanted there and not having that sense of judgment there, which can happen a lot.
For me, a sense of belonging is when I'm not forced to be hyper-aware of my own existence, because I feel like far too often when we're within groups, people are often whittled down to characteristics that make them stand out, whether that be their race, their religion, their sexuality. And although those are all things that you should be proud of, I feel like that shouldn't be what we're solely referred to or referred to as. So when I'm allowed to just exist as myself, that's when I feel like I belong.
For me, I would say it's a place where I feel welcomed, a place that I would say is my base, that I can grow from, where I can learn from, where I can share with other people, a place where I feel quite secure in myself, with like no judgment, no question of who I am, and a place where like I can just learn more about myself freely.
To me, a sense of belonging, I think it's to be seen and it's to be heard and it's to be supported by the community that I'm in. I come from the theatre world, I'm studying theatre, and a sense of belonging in that sort of context as well, and at university has been that sort of playing ground for connection and for people to see you for who you are as an individual, to embrace that and to be able to make genuine connection from that.
Thank you. So this theme of belonging is kind of linked to community, safety, but the one most powerful thing that all of you have articulated so beautifully, but in your own words, is being able to be seen in your own right, heard in your own right, and to be able to walk in your own shoes and make those connections. And I guess, you know, we heard earlier on, both from Richard and that wonderful, wonderful debate, what it is to be young again, I thought. Is this notion that if it was that simple, if it was that easy, why is there this disconnect? So what I'd like to do is maybe explore a second question, which is really how has the Cowrie helped you, or through your university experience, both informed or actually not necessarily kind of created those very conditions of safety that you've talked about? What might we learn from your experience? I said earlier on that education isn't a rational endeavour, it's an emotional endeavour. So let's start here. If you pass the microphone down, we can kind of meet in the middle again.
So, I started my second year of university last September I mean, and I first moved in to a house on campus with a friend from home, and a bunch of his friends. And at first I felt a real sense of belonging in this new community. You know, second year you move out and you hang out with all your friends and you live with your friends. But then it turned out that his friends did not like me very much, and I was harassed and bullied in that accommodation. However, I reached out to Richard, who was in New Zealand at the time, and he replied back with so much support, and I got into contact with my mentor, PJ, and throughout all of the debacle with moving out of off-campus accommodation and then moving back onto on-campus with the university and then going through the whole, bureaucracy with the university, and just, there was a lot going on. Without Cowrie there, I probably would have dropped out. And being faced with adversity and in a place where I felt like I really didn't belong, and then being completely supported by Cowrie as my cornerstone during that whole situation, I felt a sense of belonging, and that I did have a place at the university. And I actually directed a play which won 3 awards last semester. I found a place where I belong, and thank you, Cowrie. I wouldn't have done that without any of you.
Thank you. Let's go to the end.
So far after studying at university for 2 years, I feel like I found a sense of belonging amongst my friends, amongst my peers. However, I don't feel like I can say the same for leaders and kind of academics and educators. Personally this year, in second year, I've had a few kind of health issues, and leaders at my university weren't so supportive with that, and the only place I got support was from Cowrie, from my professional mentor. She kind of guided me, she led me, and she also met up with me a few times to kind of discuss any issues that I had. In terms of networking as well, I feel like my university does kind of lack in that sense. And through Cowrie's workshops and through the networking workshops, I feel like I've also managed to pick that up from here instead of getting that from university.
Thank you.
For me personally, I did start a degree earlier before the degree I'm doing right now, and I wasn't able to complete due to financial issues. And when I had to go through that with the university at that time, they were not supportive. I mean, one of the things that I remember, I am a British born citizen, and I remember having one of the last meetings with them about how I had to withdraw from the program. And the first thing they said to me was just you have 90 days to leave the country. And I was just like, oh, great, thanks, even though I've got a British passport. But it just showed how much they didn't even understand the situation, but they were so quickly to discard me. And now coming into the university I am now, and along with Cowrie, them two together, because they've set up, the university has set up a way that you can talk to Cowrie through them, or you can talk to Cowrie yourself. It's helped me so much because it's made me feel like I can go somewhere and be heard and say, yeah, I can go to Cowrie, I can go to Richard if something is an issue, I can go to my mentors if there's an issue, I can go to the Cowrie sector in the university if there's an issue. And it's made me have less burdens when I go to class. It's made me feel better about myself and what I am doing, and that I actually belong here and I have a right to be here.
Thank you.
Well, I have several moments that I can say that without Cowrie's support, I would be, I don't know where I would be, but I know that I wouldn't be having the experience that I will have today, speaking my story to everyone here. So the very first moment that I felt recognized and seen for my talents was my acceptance letter. Was congratulations, you've made it part of the team. And from that moment, that day was a very difficult day. It was my A-level biology final exam. And after that exam, I went to visit my mum after her chemotherapy treatment. And when I saw that email of that congratulations, I was like, you know what? I can do this. I'm able to go to university, go and study the degree that I want to dive into. And at first, I thought I was not going to get in because it's expensive to move out, and how I'm going to support my siblings, how can I support my mum at the time. But that made me felt seen. And during my second year, unfortunately, I went through grief with my mum passing away. And it was very difficult, but Cowrie was there, Richard was there, helping every step of the way. My university, wow. I can say that University of Hull really, really supported me, was there every moment. Student portal, are you okay? Do you need to talk to someone? Here's student support, here's everything that you need. And that constant bombardment there, it really made me feel seen and valued, that I am their student, Cowrie's, I'm their scholar, and they want me to succeed. And thank you so much, Richard. Honestly, without your recognition, I don't know where I can be.
Thank you. So I grew up in a very not diverse, racially place at all, in a farm village in the south of Ireland. So whenever I spoke up about something offending me or being uncomfortable about something, I was often isolated, ostracized, and told that I was overreacting and being hypersensitive. Last academic year at university, there was an instance where some people in my cohort decided to throw an African jungle-themed event to mock Black culture, and I spoke up about that, and I expected to feel isolated again, as I was used to. But then, when I did speak up, I had so much support from other people, and that's something I hadn't experienced until I started university. And with the Cowrie Scholarship, I was able to talk to my academic mentor, and she talked me through the process of reporting this event and how to deal with it. And I think that was something that I didn't expect, and it was a monumental moment. It was the first time I ever felt support like that.
Similarly to Mariana, I feel like Cowrie has kind of shaped me and my future. I don't really have many stories about my university. I feel like my uni was just the catalyst. Me attending was just the catalyst to kind of attach me to the Cowrie Foundation. And I don't know if I can say divine intervention, but I took a gap year after A-levels to help out at home and support my mum and siblings while my sister was at university. And this cohort, the one I'm in, was the first of the Cowrie Scholarship, and I just think about how if I decided to go straight into university, where would I be without the Cowrie Scholarship? Because I'm just a journalism student, really, and when I think about my university and what it's actually provided me, I couldn't tell you anything, really. I'm going to graduate and get a degree, but when I add the Cowrie Scholarship to that, and think about all the opportunities I've been granted, even outside the mentorship and the networking opportunities, if we're just strictly talking about the financial aspect, the weight that's lifted off my shoulder, because, not to be all sob story, but I'm a carer for my mum and my brother, and my mum's a single parent, and I took a gap. I went on a study abroad last year, and the financial aspect took a huge weight off my shoulders. And to be fair, I do have quite good money management skills, but I wouldn't have any money to manage if it wasn't for the Cowrie scholarship. And just studying abroad alone, it's kind of opened like a new portal of opportunities for me. And I would be graduating this year. Without the Cowrie scholarship, I'd just be graduating with a journalism degree from the University of Leicester, kind of in a pool of thousands of other students that just studied. I have no networking opportunities. The uni didn't really, not to say they're a bad uni, but I haven't gotten anything from them. Every success and achievement I've got and opportunity I have is because of the Cowrie scholarship, and genuinely I don't know where I'd be without this to say, like, all the people I've met and, you know, all the girls on the stage, like, who am I to say, like, whether it's 5 years from now, I could be calling any of them to help me for whatever reason. So it's kind of given me that support system, even if we're not necessarily the closest and we don't talk all the time, just the opportunity to make these friendships and to meet these people. Yeah, I am really appreciative of it.
Well, I'm from Bristol, which is very diverse, but my mum fought for me to go to the best schools there are, but those schools are predominantly white, which meant I never really belonged in any school. I genuinely stuck out. Like, if you took a picture of our class, I was the only black girl. I was the only black person there. And this was reflected not only in my classmates, but my teachers. I never had a black teacher, still haven't. And even with the content we learned, I mean, history, we learned about the slave trade, but we didn't learn about black pioneers or inventors. Geography, for my GCSE, the one thing we learned about Africa was the AIDS epidemic, not how incredibly biodiverse it is. When you just look at what I was learning, who I was surrounded by, I thought, I'm never going to belong at school. Like, this is not for me at all. But I still applied to uni, and I picked the University of Bath, which is a very white area, so I just kind of thought it was going to be the same as secondary. But having Cowrie, it was the first time I've ever fully felt validated. I've never kind of had this external validation where somebody said, oh, do you know what, you deserve to go to university and you deserve it so much and we're willing to pay for you. That's pretty cool. But having that, the first time I truly felt oh, I do belong at university, I do belong in education. And the University of Bath was really helpful as well, because what we're learning there, I do criminology, and we did a course on race and racism, and I was learning things about critical race theory and decolonial perspectives, and those are things that never in my wildest dreams would we ever be taught. I mean, they're trying to ban it in America, so I'm kind of lucky to get taught it. And then working on programs like Target Bath, which is trying to include having more black students apply to Bath. I've just never truly felt so included and felt so at peace in education before. So definitely without Cowrie, I wouldn't feel that it was for me, and I probably would have dropped out to be honest. So thanks to Cowrie, I'm on to my third year at uni now. So yeah.
And then if you conclude.
To me, when I learned that I got a Cowrie scholarship, I was in a bit of shock. I had forgotten that I had applied for it, didn't have any expectation of getting it through, and I actually had to get my sister to inform my mom, because I couldn't do it myself, because I was in huge disbelief. But 2 years in now, I can definitely say that we've got a Cowrie family, so it was great to obviously see the girls back face to face today, but also it has enabled me to take part in a lot of opportunities, volunteering back to my community and to prospective students, and really, I guess, advise them on things that weren't available to me when I was their age, but also show them that it's open to us and that we can get to this point. Yes, it will take us a lot of work, and yes, there may be days where we just won't feel like it because too much hassle, too much barriers will come through us, but there will be a point where we will be able to look back at our experience and actually say that we have gone through those hardships, even though they may have taken love and tears, but we've gotten to that point. So yeah, definitely great thanks to the Cowrie Foundation.
I'm delighted to introduce Michael Tom. So Michael is director, he's global graduate director, PhD placement programs R&D from AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca are one of our biggest supporters, so we're really grateful that Michael is here. And the other major supporter we have in the room here today, Kate from Jacobs, Kate Acrinola. He's the capture manager, growth and sales, energy and power, Jacobs Europe. Okay, so I presume you've flown in for this, or?
I wish no budget for that anymore.
Okay, so what we wanted to do was just ask, so in some ways you probably thought it was pretty obvious what the student perspective would be on a sense of belonging. We were quite keen to find out what the business perspective would be on it and a sense of belonging. And also because it may resonate and may have some relevance to the businesses out here that we also hope will become interested in the Cowrie Scholarship Foundation. So they've got a couple of minutes each. Why should we invest in a sense of belonging in a business context? I start with you, Mike.
Yeah, so you covered a little bit of it at the start in your talk. I think the reason businesses want to invest in a sense of belonging is ultimately it does help to retain talent within the organisation. But beyond that, I guess the other impact is that it does help brand awareness and it helps businesses, in the wider community. But I think for us at AstraZeneca, there are stronger benefits to creating that sense of belonging and the reason why we want to invest in it. And that's that it supports people to feel included in the conversations. They feel they can be themselves within the workplace. And through that, they will collaborate more. Now, we are a scientific organisation. R&D is the core of everything that we do. Collaboration is a huge part of that. And if people feel that they belong and they can collaborate, that will help to drive our productivity. We're also a science and innovation company, so innovation is a key part. And if people, again, feel that they belong, they can bring their ideas to the table, which may be the next scientific breakthroughs. They might be the things that help to generate the life-changing medicines that we hope to develop for our patients. And ultimately, again, the final point that you said is that the statistics show having a diverse and inclusive workforce, decisions that are made are better. And so, all of that will help us to drive our business forward. So I think that is the reason why we want to invest in a sense of belonging, because it drives so many other things behind that.
Thanks, Mike. Okay.
Taking all my points.
They didn't have a chance to confer before.
I think one of the key things for me, it's just the right thing to do. I kind of don't like using the data approach. It is still very valid, but it almost feels like you need to use numbers to back up the fact that it's just the right thing to do to have representation. I think, at a very bare minimum level, we should at least try to shadow and mirror what we see in society. Especially here in London, we do see a mix of different backgrounds, whether it's ethnicity or other things. So why not, at the very bare minimum, just try to shadow and reflect that in business, because it is the right thing to do. And like you said, the numbers do support. There is more innovation, there is ultimately you do get more profit from having more diversity within the business. So again, that's another reason why it's the right thing to do. I guess another point is, it's a good chance to embed an inclusive culture, and from there it kind of helps to bring in new talent. So if you see a company that is doing it right, that's doing the right thing, bringing in a diverse culture into a business, you will get top talent actually wanting to move and migrate towards your business. So again, that kind of emphasizes the point that it's going to help with profits and things like that.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's perhaps reflect the other way around. What does a sense of belonging mean, for example, for Jacobs? So let's say that you can't steal. Ken, why don't you start? What does a sense of belonging mean from Jacobs?
So I think the first word that comes to my mind is authenticity. So something that was touched upon earlier by an earlier panel. It's kind of the opposite of code switching to me. It's a place where you feel like you can completely eradicate or at least minimize the amount of code switching you need to do, which again is another big thing we're going to talk about today. That's a huge key word and a huge thing that a lot of minorities and other people from different backgrounds kind of struggle with today in society. I think another part is just to feel integral to the business and to feel like you actually belong here and you feel the plans and the very ethos and the values of the company is embodied in what you do. So being able to bring the true, authentic self to the business and seeing that this actually lines up to some of the values of the business, it just makes you feel like you are valued, you are welcome, and you are in the right place to be. And you can actually do great things and just fulfill your talent, fulfill your potential.
Thank you. Michael?
Yeah, I think listening to the panel of the scholars earlier, I think everything that was said there, is exactly what I think a sense of belonging means in a business context as well. It's having that environment where people really do feel they can be their authentic self, they can bring their ideas to the table, they're listened to, they're supported by the leadership to bring those ideas. It isn't just a case of bringing in diversity and saying, look, we have diversity, but we don't listen to them. It's about having that opportunity to share the ideas and have them listened and potentially actioned as well. Very specifically for AstraZeneca, obviously we want an organisation that reflects the communities that we work in and the patient populations that we are trying to deliver those life-changing medicines. And I think that's really important because we need to understand those perspectives. And I think certainly when we think about the black community and the distrust potentially within the pharmaceutical and medical practices, hearing those thoughts is really important in terms of how we can improve patients' lives. So there's very specific things in that, but I think overall it is just having that organisational structure that really supports everybody within the organisation to be themselves, share their ideas, feel comfortable in doing that. And it does start with our leadership. Our leadership need to be supported. We need to have the relevant training to be able to pass that down through the rest of the organisation. But it does take all of us to contribute to creating that culture, that environment where we can all then ultimately thrive.